Welcome to the Joyful Life with KJ podcast with co-host Bonny Clapp. Yay! Let's clap. Let's clap.
Is that going to be a thing now? It's convenient last name. Can I throw like York peppermint patties at you when it's
You
trying
can.
to talk about you?
Yeah,
I
you
have
can.
those in my house. Hello. You can. Yeah, let me get my convenient stash of killing sugar. Again.
Welcome. So this is the Joyful Life with KJ podcast, and we are going to talk about life. Life in all of its fun stuff. We're going to talk about THM stuff. We're going to talk about sisterhood and finding your tribe. We're going to talk about faith. We're just going to talk about life. And we're going to talk about Bonny Clapp because that ultimately, let's face it, that's why everybody has tuned in, because they knew that Bonny Clapp was gonna tune in. And maybe we can even, Bonnie, have you try your first Squaffy live. What would you think about that?
I'm pretty sure you already know that I'm not going to use bad words on this podcast, but you can think some things in your head and use your imagination for a coordinated answer as to what that would be. The short, happy Christian answer would be, no, thank you.
So if you don't know, well, let's start off talking about Squaffy for a minute. Why not?
Gosh.
Why not? Right? It's the trending word in the world right now. So if you don't know what Squaffy is how I make coffee extra creamy without adding all the junk. It's a squash in a coffee. And if you're new to Joyful Life with KJ and you're gasping over the thought of that, come on now. It's good. Until you try it, you cannot be negative about it. Right, Bonnie?
No, you can be negative about it without ever trying it. I've never murdered anybody, but I'm not keen to try that either. I know I won't like it. Just saying.
Just saying. So Bonnie started an anti-Squaffy campaign.
Somebody had to do something. You were getting out of control.
I was. Tell me a little bit. What did you do? What did you do with this anti-Squaffy campaign?
Well, I started with just, a reel here and there because I was protesting the idea of dunking vegetables into perfectly good, amazing, blissful black coffee. And then it kind of spiraled from there. And then I asked my friend at church who does really cute graphic stuff if she would make me a couple of stickers. And then she kind of made me a whole bunch of stickers. So I suggested to people that I know that respect and love coffee if they would like me to mail them some stickers. And so I did. And then the hashtag kind of became a response because you just kept it up. You wouldn't learn. And you kept on putting squash in coffee and blending it. And then it was all the flavors. And then it was all the things. And then it became let's poke the bear. I'm going to make more coffee. So I had to start the game. So I had to get my dog involved. So I had to get my children involved. So now I have a mug with anti-squaffy on it. I have stickers with hashtag anti-squaffy campaign. Let me know if you need a sticker. I can get more.
Meanwhile, Squaffy is taking the world by storm.
I will admit,
everybody's
paying for your spring coaching who's in my small group tried Squaffy this morning. I feel like I'm failing.
There's joy. There's joy in Squaffy. Let me just tell you.
I keep praying. I keep praying for people to see the light, but I keep influencing them to the dark side.
I'm good at it, Bonnie. I'm good at it. So let's tell everybody a little bit about us. I'll introduce myself first because I got the mic right here. So I'm KJ. I have been on a journey to newness, I'd love to say. More than just a journey to health. My journey started with needing to go on a diet. I've been needing to go on a diet. That's my good English. My good English is going to come out, Bonnie, on this podcast. I was needing to go on a diet because I was getting to an uncomfortable place in my life. And I'd been in an uncomfortable place in my life for a long time, but I didn't really admit it or talk about it out loud to people. I have been a uh, anti-inspirational campaign personally my whole life. I have made fun of people who tried to inspire and encourage because I thought it was cheesy. And I would make fun of people who would inspire and encourage because I didn't get it. I didn't understand. I didn't because I wasn't in that place. I was in a place of, don't get me wrong, I wasn't in this dark, miserable place, but I was not in a super joyful place in my life. And one day I posted on the Trim Healthy Mama Facebook page basically a cry for help. It wasn't intended to be a cry for help, but that's what it was recognized as quickly by a group of women, Bonnie included, where I talked about how here I am again, back to struggling with my weight, back to another diet, another attempt where I'm just going to fall off the wagon in less than a week and I'm going to give up and go back to my Chinese food addiction and my Pop Tart and Dorito and Hot Pocket addiction. But I'm here again and I'm going to try one more time. And I had done that before, but I hadn't been so open about my shortcomings, I guess. I hadn't been so open about my struggles and how tough this journey really was. And so this time, a group of women encouraged me and I was like, okay, it felt good to be encouraged, even though I'm like, oh, don't be an encourager. It's cheesy. I don't like it when people are all, oh, you can do this. Go you. I'm usually an eye roller in that, like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. Well, they encouraged and it made me feel good. And then I posted again. And those same women, there was a lot of women that came on and encouraged, but there was this core group of women that came on and encouraged again. And then I shared something. I don't even remember now what it was, but I shared something that I cooked and somebody said, I wish you would do a video of you cooking that so I could see what it was like." And I was like, "What? A video?" So I did it live. I did a live video in the Facebook page. I didn't even know if I was allowed to do that, if I was going to get in trouble, get kicked off, but I didn't. People started watching and people were like, "Oh my gosh, do that again. Can you do that tomorrow? What are you making for breakfast? Can you cook it live?" And I kept doing it, and that's how this all started. And I grew into my calling, I guess I would say. God looked at me and said, "Oh yeah, the girl who makes fun of encouragers and inspirational quotes, you're going to be writing them and saying them to people. You're going to ha ha. This is God's sense of humor. I am convinced that
Always.
God has a sense of humor.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's what he does. If you say, I don't like that God, he's going to go, ha ha ha, here's your gift.
Right.
You're
Right.
welcome."
Yeah.
And that's how I found my place. I'm going to be all cheesy. And that is how I found my place in this world. Yeah.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
story. Thank you.
Isn't it beautiful, moving, touching story?
Wonderful.
And now, 3 years later, I have a Facebook page, a full-time coaching business where I one-on-one coach women. I have a large amount of women in my monthly group coaching that I work with to help them ultimately. Yeah, I want them to find health. That's a goal. But my main goal is to help them further their joy, especially their walk with Christ, because through this whole process, Christ has drawn me in, showed me my purpose, showed me my calling. I heard people talk for years about following God's will, and I was like, what does that even mean? How do you even know? And then when you find it, you know.
Yep.
It's there. You
Yep.
know your calling when it happens. I guess when you lean in and you follow, he makes it very clear what your calling is. And so that is how KJ ended up being KJ. I'll tell you the whole story behind my name someday too, but not today. So Bonnie, tell me a little bit about how you came to be here.
Well, that was a great introduction for you. Let's see. My local friend had told me a little bit about THM, and she was having some great success postpartum with her third child, and I was really impressed by it. And she said, "Let you borrow a cookbook or two, and I'll bring some stuff to homeschool co-op, and you can try it." And I thought it was great. I was just in the mindset of, okay, I'm overweight. I've always been overweight. I'm always going to be overweight. I'm always going to feel terrible. So who cares? I'm just going to eat whatever I want.
Yeah.
No big deal. It was around that time that God started laughing at me because I started having some pretty bad reactions to gluten where I realized I can't have that in my life anymore. Oh, well, the Trim Healthy Mama plan is usually gluten free. Well, that would be easier. And you're having such great success with it. I'm just watching her do great. And I try her stuff. It doesn't taste disgusting. So I tried some more. So then I talked to my husband about it. And I was like, let's try this. So I got on board with it. And then I'm like, okay, well, there's a Facebook page with 5 million people on it. So I'm over here in the little corner of my world as a little introvert going, okay, I'll watch, but I won't do much. And then there was this lady on my scroll, and she had a little cute round inflamed face and little sticky uppy hair, and there was a very long introspective post that followed it, and I was like, whoa, it's me. What the heck, yo? And I was like, I like this lady, and she's not afraid to be real. So I don't have a lot of friends because I intimidate people. I'd be like, hi, my name is Bonnie. What's your darkest secret? I don't know how to small talk. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what's wrong with me. So she's on there and she's like, hey, y'all, here's the inner workings of my heart, and here's what I'm struggling with. I'm like, I like you. So I reached out to her. And then I was like, became a stalker. Hey, can I send you something in the mail? Give me your home address. And so we kind of struck up a little bit of a friendship. And then you started kind of branching out there and doing stuff. And I remember you did a whole thing for all of January that one year. And I was so impressed by it. Like, you got up with intention and you had a short video, you had cooking, and you talked with people and you encouraged people and you interacted with people online. And then you were like, well, let's talk about Jesus a little bit here and there. And I was just so impressed with it. Then I was like, oh, that's really cool. And you're like, okay, well, January's over. And I was like, I can do that. So I was like, I'm doing this for February. And about 4 days in, I was like, crap, I gotta do this for like 24 more days. I don't want to do this. But what I do love is coming alongside women in my life that I feel like Jesus places in my path. And I love being a helper and a support and a behind the scenes encourager. I'm the woman who will bake you the casserole when you're sick and come and sweep your floor, and then we never have to talk about it again. Like that. That
It's a
is my
secret.
spiritual gift.
We don't talk about this.
You will never enter my church on a Sunday and see me on stage singing with the worship team. It will never happen. But I will wash your dishes after the potluck's over. That is who I am. And blessedly, you have allowed me over the past few years to become your floor sweeper and your casserole baker and your little helper in the background. And now you're like, let's put your face on there.
Welcome to your darkest, most uncomfortable place. Here you are.
Right? And you're just like, here, we could totally talk about all your stuff. I'm like, you don't want to go there. It's pretty dark inside that brain. But that is a little bit about how you and I found each other. And my THM journey is basically honed in on this smaller group. And you said, let me get you on this app called Marco Polo. And let me introduce you to this small group of women that I've built a little community with, because I really feel like you would blossom there. And I'm like, oh, more people I don't know. Oh, crap. And then I stuck my neck out. And now, y'all are my people. Like, oh, you're gonna make me cry. Y'all are like my besties. You're my I get up in the morning and I'm like, oh, there's a Marco Polo from the group. Oh my gosh. And you've become such, not just you, but like all of our THM tribe, they've become such a part of my life that my kids know whose voice it is from across the house. Just, oh, mom's catching up on polos. Oh, that's Miss So-and-so. Oh, that's such and such. And they'll ask after, how are things going? Is she doing better? How is your granddaughter feeling? How's the baby today? You're just such a part of my life now. And it's all intertwined with what I am or am not putting in my mouth. And it's what I am or am not putting in my head. And it's what I am or am not allowing in my heart. And I think that that's what God did for me, is that he said, dude, you need community. And
Yeah.
I'm going to force it on you whether you like it or not. And it's going to come from this really weird woman. It's going to end up being good. So here I am.
Here you are.
That's me.
Yeah. I think I I mean, I've had friends. I've always been kind of a social person, but an introvert at the same time. Like, I like my alone time. I really like my alone KJ, nobody else time.
I don't think you keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I like my I have my moments of I've had too much. I'm going to crawl inside myself, leave me alone. I have those moments where mine aren't as often as some people, but I really I get peopled out too. And usually when I get peopled out, it comes to I start getting snappy with people, and usually my family. I start getting grouchy and short, and I'm just like, I need to be left alone. I've peopled too much. But to me, that's part of the beauty about our community on Marco Polo is, yeah, there are people there. This sounds terribly mean, but at the same time, they're at a distance. I'm not constantly like, I can jump on and community when I need to community, and I can step back and be by myself when I need to. And that's okay. And Marco Polo has allowed that for both of us, to
Yes.
people when we need to, not people when we need to. But the thing about our community, so we have a community that we call the Shrinking Sisters, and we'll talk more about that in future podcasts. We'll bring some of the sisters on, hopefully, if we can get them to agree to it. We'll bring them on and we'll have little chit chats with each of the sisters. But we call this group the Shrinking Sisters, and we all met the same way through these videos and through Trim Healthy Mama. And while Trim Healthy Mama is a big part of our life, it is not our only connection now. Our connection is we are sisters. We are the ladies on my small group are my family, and they are my best friends. And I can't go a day without getting on and seeing their faces. And pretty soon we're all going to meet, and it's going to be the most exciting thing ever. I cannot wait. We're all going to meet here in Maine for a week, and we're going to have just a blast at the Joyful Life Retreat, which, if, by the way, shameless plug, if you're not signed up for, you're running out of time, get your butt signed up for the Joyful Life Retreat in Bangor, Maine on July 13th through the 16th, because it's going to be amazeballs. So that's a little bit about how Bonnie and I met, air quotes, because we
I have
haven't even
never
met.
seen you in person before. I mean,
No,
not staying in the same room
no.
ever. The funny thing is that once a long time ago, somebody was like, "Oh, is that like your sister?" I'm like,
Yeah,
"Well, I mean, in Christ, yeah,
right.
but in
Yeah,
reality, no."
yeah.
Oh, how long have you known each other? Like 10 years? Well, some days it feels like it. It was me. It's definitely a Christ given connection, and
Absolutely.
it's definitely a sisterhood
Yeah,
through and
yeah.
through.
So I have, as part of my coaching, I have a whole team of admins that keep me on track and are the only reason I'm successful at coaching at all. If it wasn't for my group of admins, I'd have one client and they would have fired me 2 years ago. They keep me on track. I have somebody who does my website. I have somebody who helps with meal review. I have somebody that helps with my YouTube. Like, I have somebody for everything. Bonnie is my prayer partner and live heckler.
That is my official title. Live.
Heckler
Yep.
extraordinaire. She
Yep.
makes the lives so fun with her fun making fun. And I love that. I love that. I look forward to every morning when I get on and there is no Bonnie Clapp. I'm like, where's Bonnie? Where is
Probably
she?
sleeping because you're up at ungodly hours for no reason, and you're an hour ahead of me. You're like, "Where were you on the live this morning?" I'm like, "I don't know. It was like 3:47 a.m. What were you doing on the live?"
You just wait. When I come back from vacation, girl,
Oh,
my
Lord.
plan is to be
Oh,
going to the
no.
gym at 5 a.m. I've got a class I want to join at 5 a.m. I'll get on and say good morning, and everybody can wake up with me. I think
I will
it's
be setting my mutes even further ahead at
great.
that point.
All right. Well, I think it is going to be a fun time, this podcast. We're going to talk about lots of different things. We're going to talk about joy, and we'll talk about sadness, and we'll talk about loss and struggles and happy things and all the good, all the bad, and sometimes just a bunch of crazy nonsense
And
about absolutely nothing.
black coffee.
Black coffee. We'll have an episode about black coffee.
I mean,
It will be boring.
You told me this whole podcast was about the joys of black coffee. That's the only reason I'm here. You tricked me
I
again.
did. I'm good at it. I'm good at it. All right, my friends. Thank you for joining us for the first podcast. I hope you enjoyed this little chat. How's that go? Chit chat with Miss Bonny Clapp and I. We will see you next time, and we'll talk about something else, and I don't know what. We'll have to figure it out because that's what we do. We wing it. Right? Love you guys. See you next time.